do it. I didn't do anything for my relationship with Krishna. All my rounds were empty capsule in our relationships in our daily life. The first step to build any relationship in marriage and family life. So the first step in building a relationship, let me ask you, what is the very first step when we want to build a relationship? Huh? Giving time, yes, good point. And what else? Huh? Even before then, why, whoever wants to take part in the seminar here, why don't you sit here? I cannot even see you there, then you can take better part there, if you want to take part. If you just want to sit there, okay, no problem. So what is the very first step before we can develop any relationship? Hmm? Can you switch this off, please? So what is the very first step? Hmm? No idea? Huh? Yeah, that's closer. Well, we have to be mindful of that person's presence in our life, right? Yes. Let's say husband and wife, they can easily ignore each other. He's doing his thing, she's doing her thing. So then no deeper relationship will develop, right? So the very first step is that we are mindful. Oh, I have a husband here next to me. Oh, I have a wife. So I have to turn towards them, give them some attention, understand what their mood is, their needs, their feelings, and we have to turn to them. Otherwise, how can a relationship develop? Hmm? Yes. See, because in our daily life, often we are very impersonal with each other. We just run past each other. Everybody's busy, and then life becomes very impersonal. The relationship's very superficial. So same thing is there with Krishna, So the very first step in developing our relationship with Krishna is that we are mindful of his presence in our life. Especially when we chant, that we turn to him, we appeal to him to come, but then we ignore him, we turn our back to him. So like that, a relationship cannot develop, right? It's very simple and logical, actually. So now the same thing is also there in Kirtan. What makes a Kirtan, a good Kirtan, is not the musical expertise, but it is when the Kirtan leader mindfully turns to Krishna, feelingly calls out to him, longing for the relationship, begging, please accept me. Prabhupada was giving us an analogy how we should chant the holy name. Who knows what Prabhupada said? Yes, we should chant like a child crying out in helplessness, in desperation for his mother. That's how we should chant. But are we chanting like that? No, we are not. Yes, that's the problem. So even in Kirtan also, we should cry out actually to Krishna. And that's what makes a Kirtan a powerful and spiritually uplifting Kirtan. Yes. But very easily we don't do that, and we simply want to make a show how nicely we can sing and play and this and that, And we don't even turn to Krishna and call out to him. We completely forget about him. We leave him out of the picture. So that is not, well, when we leave him out of the picture, that is empty capsule and Kirtan. No connection. Will be not satisfying to the heart. Maybe it's very nice music, okay? There's so much nice music out there, but it will not really help us to connect with Krishna. Can somebody extinguish the incense there? Or is it already taken? Yeah, put it upside down. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the whole point, you know. Empty capsule is there in Kirtan also, not only in Japa. And then another thing is that the empty capsule even can easily fill with poison. So Satchidananda Swami Maharaj didn't only introduce an empty capsule, but also a poisonous capsule. Actually, I will read you a nice purport from the Bhagavatam, where Prabhupada makes a very funny little statement. Let me find this here. This is from 3rd Canto, 15th chapter, verse 18. It's a very nice chapter where Prabhupada describes, or the Bhagavatam describes, Vaikuntha atmosphere, how beautiful it is in the spiritual world. So Prabhupada says in the purport, the special feature of Vaikuntha is that there is no question of sense gratification. In the material world, even an ass enjoys his own sound vibration. The ass thinks, oh, everybody should hear my beautiful voice. In the material world, even an ass enjoys his sound vibration. But in the Vaikuntha planets, such nice birds as the peacock, the chakavaka, and the cuckoos, they prefer to hear the vibration of the glories of the Lord from the bees. The principles of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting, are very prominent in the Vaikuntha world. So in other words, Prabhupada is describing how in the material world, everybody likes to hear his own sound, thinking, my voice is so beautiful, my sound is so beautiful, everybody should hear me. But in the spiritual world, there is a completely different mood. There, even the most beautifully chirping birds like the cuckoos, chakavaka, peacocks, they don't think my sound is so nice. They rather want to hear from the bees how they are glorifying the Lord. Even though from a material point of view, the bees humming is not so overwhelmingly beautiful, you know. But that's the mood in the spiritual world, that everybody thinks actually the others, they are glorifying the Lord much more beautifully. Their voices are so much more attractive. I rather want to hear from them. But here in the material world, everybody thinks my sound is so beautiful. You know? Yes. So, and especially in Kirtan, this mood can enter, that we think, oh, everybody has to hear my sound, my voice, my instrument playing. So now it is really like that, that consciousness actually travels on sound vibration. This is a very special arrangement the Lord made, actually, because the voice is very closely connected with our emotions, right? So when we're angry, or when we're upset or sad, or when we get a fright, this comes out through our mouths. Whatever we say will reflect that. We cannot hide it. So that's a very interesting and special arrangement Krishna made there, that when we speak or when we sing, then the consciousness travels on that sound coming out of our mouth, and it reaches everybody's heart, and it uplifts and purifies the heart. If we are if we have some devotion for the Lord, when we sing in devotion to Krishna, feelingly calling out to Him, longing for Him, then that mood, that emotion, that transcendental emotion travels on the sound vibration and uplifts everybody. That's the whole transcendental affair of Kirtan. Yeah, that's why Kirtan should be sung with pure devotion as far as possible. At least longing for the relationship with Krishna, mindfully turning to Him, feelingly appealing to Him, helplessly depending on Him. So if we chant the holy name in Kirtan with that emotion and that consciousness, then it becomes a very transcendental affair. But if we have the mood of the ass, thinking, oh, my sound is so great, I'm so expert, then this is the poisonous capsule, Satchidananda Swami says. Because that's the whole false ego mood. I'm so great, everybody should hear me, And then that consciousness travels on the sound vibration. Yes. And then everybody captures that emotion and that consciousness. And then it is not so purifying anymore, Yes. We even have that story with Narada Muni when he was in his previous life, when he was a Gandharva, Upabarana. You heard that story? Upabarana. He was a Gandharva. He had a very beautiful body, very beautiful and attractive voice. And he joined some Kirtan Mela in the upper planets. So Kirtan Mela is not a new thing. It has, existed for thousands of years. So he joined this assembly of sages and saints, and he was chanting there, but he was in the wrong consciousness. He wanted to show off in front of the heavenly damsels who attended there. He wanted to bring attention to himself rather than to the Lord, because that's what we do when we show off in Kirtan. We want to glorify ourselves and bring attention to us and not to Krishna. So, and then somebody cursed him. Yes, because he was not in the right consciousness. It's very subtle, very subtle. From far away, it may sound like and look like the real thing, or person is singing so nicely, but it depends what is his consciousness. Is he trying to bring attention to himself and glorify himself? Or is he trying to bring attention to the deities and glorify the Lord? So, and Upabarana was cursed because you are not using your opulence properly, one life without opulence. So that's how he took birth as the son of a maidservant, no opulence, yes. So that should be a good lesson for us, that we have to join Kirtan in the right consciousness and the mood of serving, not in the mood of showing off, bringing attention to ourselves and. Yeah. Yeah, so and as I mentioned, Satchidananda Swami is saying that when we use the holy name to bring attention to ourselves, and showing off, that's the poisonous capsule. Yes. Yeah, so we have to be very careful that we are joining Kirtan in the right mood and the right consciousness. Otherwise, the whole thing is contaminated. We have to be like Mahaprabhu says, Tenada Pisunichana. So this is also for Kirtan. This is not only for japa. We have to be in a humble mood of mind and the humble frame of mind. Yes. So when we join Kirtan, who do we serve? Hmm? Who do we serve when we join Kirtan? Who do we serve? Yes, Nam Prabhu, Hari Nam Prabhu, the Maha Mantra we serve. So it means all the instrument players, they should have that mood of serving the Maha Mantra, not killing the Maha Mantra. Sometimes people, they take the wampus and woo, 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 so loud, so loud. Oh my God, sometimes, it also damages our hearing. Yeah, we have so many senior devotees, they're deaf. They have to have hearing aids. Like Indra Swami, Malati Mataji, they're all deaf from too loud kirtans. Yeah, yeah, especially here in India. People don't know this. And they turn up sometimes the volume so loud. Oh my God, I can't even tolerate it. All my intestines are vibrating, terrible. This is so damaging to our hearing, and the whole transcendental aspect gets lost. Yes. So we have to serve the Maha Mantra. So everybody has to be in that consciousness. The Madanga, the Kata, it's always serving the Maha Mantra, not showing off and bringing attention to ourselves. Actually, there was this funny little episode. Maybe you've heard about Yaduba Prabhu. Yes, Yaduba Prabhu, Prabhupada Sava. He made these beautiful films about Prabhupada. So I know him personally, so he once shared with me that when he was in Mayapur, there was this passionate, loud kirtan happening in the temple room. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, So, and then it finished. And then Prabhupada turned to him, to Yaduba Prabhu, and said, "Good, he has finished." That's what Prabhupada said. He didn't say anything more than that. Just good, he has finished. So yeah, I mean, at least Prabhupada was happy that at least people are chanting Hare Krishna. But he could not give us everything in this very beginning, in the very few years. But yeah, gradually we have to come to deeper levels of understanding what Kirtan is all about. So yeah, consciousness should be like that we serve the holy name. Even clapping in Kirtan is actually counted to be an instrument. And so often we have somebody who is clapping so loud. Listen to me, my clapping so loud. Again, that's the ass. My sound is so beautiful. Listen to my sound. This little ass-like mentality we all have that we think my sound is so beautiful. you know. So we have to be very careful that we don't give this ass in our hearts a chance to produce this big noise and show off his sounds. Yeah. So and that's why we have all kinds of Vaishnava etiquettes also. You know, yes. That for example, we should never be so eager to lead kirtan, especially in the presence of senior devotees. We should not be eager to lead, because if we are so eager to lead, oh well, what is it? It's again the ass who wants to enjoy his own sound vibration there, thinking himself so amazingly beautiful there, you know. Yeah, it's a false ego, that we think our sounds are so, everybody has to hear our singing. So just to, keep the ass a little a little quiet. That's why we have this Vaishnava etiquette rule, that we should only lead when we are invited to do so. Only then we should sing. Only then we should speak. If somebody invites us, and if people are not inviting, then it means we are not meant to sing. Yeah. Even as a senior devotee, somebody should invite us. We should not just think, oh, I'm senior, so it's my turn to sing or something. You know? No, we should invite each other. Oh, please, Prabhu, you sing, or Mataji, would you like to sing? You know, so we invite others. That's the mood in the spiritual world. You know, as we read the purport there, that even the beautifully chirping birds, they rather want to hear from the bees how they glorify the Lord. You know? So if we ever want to enter the spiritual world, we have to accept that mood, that we rather want to hear from the others and not push ourselves to the front. You know? So even when we feel some little frustration, oh, I did not get a chance to sing, you know. So what is this again? It's the false ego, you know, wanting to be heard and noticed and getting frustrated. Then our pleasure is not coming from chanting the holy name. Very clear, right? If the pleasure would really come from chanting the holy name, we don't care whether we lead or somebody else leads. This whole question who leads will become completely unimportant if we actually get the pleasure from chanting the holy name, right? Yes, yes. But just the fact that, you know, if we are so keen to lead and we get frustrated if we can't lead, and if our time is up, we don't want to stop, we go on and on and on. You know, so this is all a sign that we are just on the false ego platform there, just enjoying ourselves, you know. And that is the poisonous capsule, as Satchidananda Swami explains, you know. Yeah, so these rules of Vaishnava etiquette, they help us, you know, to actually let go of the false ego's demands there, you know. Yeah, also let me see. In the Holy Name Retreat we are conducting, we discuss all kind of little aspects of leading kirtan. For example, you know, singing all kinds of different mantras should not be done. We should just stick to the Maha Mantra. Yeah, all kinds of other things we put in, even little things like bolo and, you know, whatever kirtan leaders additionally shout out there. This is not a good idea. You know, we should just chant the Maha Mantra, nothing else. You know. Even if we go on for too long with Hari Bol or chanting different names of deities and all that. Actually, Prabhupada did not really like this. Actually, Jayat Vedamaj, he wrote a whole book about Prabhupada's Kirtan standards. Anybody has seen that book? Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan standards? Very, very important book, because very easily in Kali Yuga, you know, things are changing and people try to make the kirtan more interesting by adding all kinds of little things in there, you know, but this should not be done. Even things like one more time from the heart and you know, some kirtan leaders that try to do these things. Oh, this, yeah. Otherwise, you know, 10, 20 years further down the road, the Maha Mantra becomes something else, you know, and we are adding all kinds of stuff there, you know. So we should just keep it very simple at the Maha Mantra without adding all kinds of other things. Usually these tendencies come when we don't really turn to Krishna and connect with him when we chant, you know? Yes. And then we try and invent all kinds of other things to make the kirtan more interesting, you know? But when we actually really turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to Him helplessly, longing for the relationship, then no need to make the holy name more interesting. The holy name is already super powerful and it's all attractive. We can't make it more attractive by adding all kinds of things there, you know? Yeah. So that's quite an important thing, you know? Yes. Also, we actually have in ISKCON, we have a Kirtan committee, which is trying to keep Kirtan as it is. Because in Kali Yuga, everything naturally trends downwards, you know, towards contamination and deviation. So that we have a Kirtan committee in ISKCON, which put together all kinds of rules and regulations and recommendations just to make sure the Kirtan is kept purely. Yeah. So we have, for example, the rule that in the temple room in front of the deities, we should only use traditional instruments. Yeah, no instruments from the rock and roll, you know, scene. Electric guitar or drum kit, synthesizer. All these things have no place in the temple room, you know. If we really like to do these things, all right, on preaching programs on some stage outside, okay, no problem. But in the kirtan, in the temple room in front of the deities, only traditional instruments. You know? Yeah. Yes, and we also have a rule that those who play flute, they sometimes have to put down the flute and chant the holy name. They can't just get so carried away with their flute playing there, because then again it takes the emphasis away from the Maha Mantra. And then all of a sudden the instruments become the main thing. Even sometimes we give the instruments some solo, you know, that without chanting the holy name, just the instruments are playing. It's actually not really what Prabhupada wanted, actually, because it, in a subtle way, it takes the attention away from the holy name, you know, and gives more attention to the instruments. But no, the instruments should all serve the holy name, and the holy name should be the center, nothing else, you know. And all those who play instruments like Madanga, Katas, they also have to sing. Sometimes we see that people are not singing. They're just so absorbed in their instrument playing, but they're not singing. So this also should not be done, because then again, you know, the holy name is actually not in the center there. You know? Yes. And also there's a few things which are really distracting us from the focus on the holy name in Kirtan. What do you think? What is distracting us from our focus on the holy name when we sing in Kirtan? Huh? Mobile, yes, when the mobile rings, or when people are talking on the phone in the Kirtan, any kind of distracting noises, right? And also when the Kirtan leader puts some extra little, you know, decorations there when everybody else chants, you know? You know what I mean? That the Kirtan leader leads the Maha Mantra through the mic, and then when everybody else answers, then the Kirtan leader also sings through the mic, but he's singing slightly something different. He harmonizes, or he puts some bolo bolo in, or hari hari, or whatever, you know? Yeah, that also takes away our attention on the holy name. Then immediately the mind goes, oh, what is he singing there? You know, then our mind goes to him instead of the holy name. So yeah, these things are quite subtle, so we have to be very mindful, that we are in the right consciousness, that the holy name is the very center, that we're all in the mood of serving the holy name, that we don't want to show off and bring attention to ourselves, even in dancing. Sometimes when we dance in the kirtan, we also try to use that to bring attention to ourselves. The men have their way to bring attention to themselves, the women have their way to bring attention to themselves. Yeah, so this all contaminates the kirtan experience actually. Any kind of showing off is contaminating. And kirtan can very well be an opportunity to simply try and show off, and then it is not uplifting, but it is rather contaminating. Yes. Well, maybe let us see if anybody has some question, since kirtan is a very prominent thing in our daily life, or it should be a prominent thing, Yes. So the question is, when we lead a kirtan, it may be helpful for us to get more absorbed. So is it wrong to lead? Well, it's not wrong to lead, but we should be invited. When we are so eager, oh, I want to lead. Oh, now is my turn. Nobody's here. Thank God. Now I can grab the mic and lead. So that is false ego. That is the little ass. How Prabhupada says, even the ass enjoys his own sound vibration. Yes. And actually, the more we get on deeper levels of chanting, the more we realize that when we don't lead, that's a much easier to actually call out to Krishna and connect. Because when we are in the leading position, we are in the limelight, and we get to an external level, and we start thinking, oh, does everybody like my kirtan? What is everybody thinking? Maybe I should change the tune, and maybe people get bored, so it's actually much easier to really call out helplessly to Krishna when we don't lead. Yeah. But because very easily, by leading, we get onto the external platform. Also, let me ask, what is more important, japa or kirtan? Japa. Any other opinion? Well, they are both very important, of course. But japa, good japa, sets the foundation to deep kirtan. Because in japa, that's when we build individually that connection with Krishna, right? When we chant our japa, there we have to do that internal hard work to really call out to Him, turn to Him feelingly, helplessly, like a child. So in japa, we establish that connection individually. And then in kirtan is the emphasis on spreading and giving benefit to others. So for most people say japa is more austere, it's more hard work, whereas kirtan is, more pleasant for most people, So, but only if our japa is actually good, only then we will be able to connect also in kirtan with Krishna. because Kirtan offers more external distractions. The melody, the rhythm, the instruments, the audience, they are more distracting. So if we have not built a deeper connection to Krishna in japa, will be very difficult to actually really feeling the call out to Krishna in Kirtan. So japa sets the foundation to Kirtan. Very important to understand this, because now very often, very commonly, we have the younger generation, all they want is Kirtan, 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 but then there is no japa there. So Kirtan without japa, guaranteed empty capsule or poisonous capsule, guaranteed, because the japa builds that connection with Krishna. And if people don't chant japa and they may not even follow the principles, then the basic purity is not even there, then there is no spiritual force in the kirtan, you know. So now what sets the foundation to japa? What do you think? Yeah, also. But let's look at our sadhana, our practice of sadhana. So japa sets the foundation to kirtan. So and what sets the foundation to japa? Exactly. Hearing Prabhupada's books, reading. Yes. Very important to understand. So the hearing Prabhupada's books, that sets the foundation to deep japa. Because only if we read regularly, then this sambandha gyan, this knowledge, who am I, who is Krishna, what is this whole material world all about, that sinks deeper into the level of the heart. And then it becomes very natural. Then we know, yes, I have this lost and forgotten relationship with Krishna. So let's turn to him, call out to him, please, longing for the relationship. It becomes natural when that sambandha gyan is deeply reaching the heart. And for that, we have to hear and read again and again and again. So yeah, that's how the three go together, Prabhupada's books set the foundation to japa, and japa sets the foundation to meaningful kirtan, So now your second question, what was that? So now the question is, in the Gujarati song, often people add all different things, So, I mean, fair enough, it is a bhajan, it's not the holy name. So this adding things is especially inappropriate in regards to the Maha Mantra. The Maha Mantra should be kept as it is, not adding all kinds of things, bolo bolo and oh, Hari and this and that and whatever. So, but the Maha Mantra, that's a very important thing. Otherwise, 50 years later, it will be a whole different thing. And in Bengal, they're very expert in Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Radha Krishna, Hare Sham, and whatnot. They build all their funny mantras there. So this should not be done. The Maha Mantra is the Maha Mantra and should be kept as it is. Yes. Yeah, that's a whole big discussion. Actually, I've been preaching in Bangladesh for 25 years. So in Bengal, the R is pronounced as O. They even spell my name, Deboki, with Deboki, with an O. Devaki. Yeah. So this is the Bengali accent, you know. So there also in Bangladesh, they say Ramo. They have this covered O. They don't say Rama. No, that's a Bengali accent, you know. So, but we should not imitate this, because there was this story where, what is his name? The Swami who disappeared. No, in Prabhupada's times, you know, and Vishnujan Swami, yes. So he was imitating this, you know, he was imitating the Bengali style of singing, and it was singing Ramu. And then Prabhupada said, oh, what is this Ramu? You know, what is this all about? No Ramu. You know, but what Prabhupada was actually criticizing is that we are imitating and trying to be special and sing like the Bengalis do or something. But Prabhupada would never say that to the Bengalis, because it's their way of pronunciation, you know? So that's the whole thing. So for the Bengalis, that's the way they chant the holy name, you know? But we should not imitate. Yes, that's the whole matter. Yeah. Do we have any other points of discussion about Kirtan? Actually, Prabhupada was making this funny statement, because as we know, Kirtan has a very powerful effect. We all have that, we all know the pastime in Jaikhanda forest, right? When Mahaprabhu is making the animals dance and chant, the tigers, the elephants, the deers, the monkeys, you know, even the tigers and deers were embracing, chanting. So that shows the power of the holy name, that in Kirtan we can overcome the bodily platform. So of course these monkeys, tigers, they're nobody else but us actually. You know, we have also a few elephants amongst us, and plenty of monkeys, you know, not so many deers, and also a few tigers. So that's the power of the chanting. If we would actually get together every day, just for 1 hour kirtan, it has an amazingly uniting effect. You know, yes, amazingly uniting. So Prabhupada was saying this nice thing. He said, this chanting should go on instead of meetings, resolutions, dissolutions, revolutions, and then no solutions. There should be chanting. So of course we should not think that devotees should not meet and pass resolutions. But no, Prabhupada made this point that if we would just engage more in kirtan, you know, then we would overcome so many impediments and obstacles and you know, yeah, tensions and. So that's the power of chanting the holy name in Kirtan. It really is uniting, because in Kirtan we are all equal, just simply spirit souls glorifying the Lord. You know, that's the power of Kirtan. We lose all these upadis, you know, these material designations, you know. Yeah. And I mean, even in family life, it's really a powerful thing if the family members get together every evening just for 10-15 minutes kirtan. It has an amazingly uniting effect. And for kids, it's amazing when they grow up with such a ritual, you know, every evening, 10-15 minutes kirtan. No matter how old the kids are, they are attracted to kirtan. Even already 1 year old, they like kirtan, you know. Because if this is not there, especially when the children become older, then often in the evenings everybody sits in their corners with their mobile phones. There's no interaction, and life becomes rather impersonal in a family. But if people get together, just 10, 15 minutes kirtan, this is an amazing effect. If we can build this in, so simple, but yet for many not so easy to really apply it, because you have to show where are your priorities. How important is the holy name for us? Do we really want to move the holy name into the center of our family life? Or is our mobile phone and social media, is that more important to us? So we have to show true color, what is important to us. So I know some families who introduced that, and they shared with me how the whole atmosphere in the family changes just because of 10, 15-minute kirtan in the evening. Yes. Very, very easy and powerful, principle to implement. All right, do we have anything else? Any other questions, topics about Kirtan? Yes. There's what? Okay. When? Well, somebody should invite him. He should not put him. The question is, the person who is in charge of the kirtan slots, when should he sing? So he actually, strictly speaking, he should not put himself on the list. He should wait until somebody says, "Oh, Prabhu, why don't you sing?" And I mean, now we have Kartik, I don't know what system you have, to decide who sings Damodarastika. But the actual Vaishnava etiquette would be, if one person goes around and invites first the senior devotees with a calendar, with the dates. So when would you like to sing? And one devotee goes around, approaches the senior people, and then gradually we go to junior, more junior, more junior. But many temples now, what do? They just put a poster on the board and say, "Here, everybody put their name in when you want to sing." That's already against Vaishnava etiquette. Then what happens? The young folks, they all run and put their names in on the best slots, weekends when there's many people. And then for the senior people, oh, sorry, no free slots. It's completely against etiquette. So somebody should go around and invite everybody. First the seniors, and then whatever slots are left, we give to the more junior people. I remember once one devotee told me how one mother was ringing, "I want my daughter to lead the Damodarastika." And then the devotee said, "Oh, sorry, all the slots are taken." And she said, "Who is your authority? I want my daughter to sing." So, I mean, this is so much against Vaishnava etiquette. Now we should, this is really the ass, wanting that to get that gratification. My daughter is singing, no. I mean, this is really the wrong attitude. Yes. So we have to be very careful that we don't use, kirtan or Damodarastika just as an opportunity to show off and bring attention to ourselves. Yeah. Yeah, so always giving the seniors the chance first, and then if somebody invites us, okay, then we also sing. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we should be introspective and reflect, Am I so eager to lead? Am I getting frustrated? Oh, I didn't get a chance to lead. Guaranteed false ego. Yes. Then really our pleasure is not coming from chanting the holy name. Let's be clear in this. You know? Yes. Yes. So, and then as we get on deeper levels of chanting, we actually, we lose that eagerness. It's not so important to us anymore whether we lead or others lead. And even this whole discussion, should the women lead or not lead? Oh, I'm so tired of it, really. Yes, my God. For me, it's a sign that we haven't gotten on deeper levels of chanting the holy name. Because once we get on deeper levels, it doesn't worry us who leads. We're simply happy to lead and to sing, and we get the pleasure from singing the Maha Mantra. It doesn't matter whether we lead or somebody else leads. You know? Yes. But while we are so eager to lead, guaranteed sign of false ego. Yeah. Then all our satisfaction just becomes from ego gratification. And that's what Satchidananda Swami calls the poisonous capsule. Yeah. Yes. All right, anything else? Somebody had their hand up there? Yes, yes, Prabhu. What? They start and then? In between is announcement. Okay. The mantra is not complete and will be stopped for announcement. I mean, it's kind of almost a bit of a managerial thing. It depends how important the announcement is. I mean, ideally, the kirtan should not be interrupted just to make some announcement or something, because it's a whole meditation. We want to really call out feelingly, longing for the relationship, and then, oh, sorry, some important announcement. It's not so nice. Better to use the time when the kirtan leader is changed anyway, when his slot is finished, and then before the next one sings, so then we can use that little pause to make an announcement, but not in the middle of a kirtan. It's kind of a little interrupting the whole meditation and atmosphere. Yeah. Anything else? Yes. Well, it depends. The question is, if somebody invites us to lead, should we sing? I mean, it depends a little bit on the situation. But if we are invited to sing, so then we should accept the service and do our best. But if maybe there's others who are more qualified or something, we can say, or maybe you want to sing or something. But if people invite us, so then we should humbly accept, and we should do it as service, trying to serve the devotees and serve the holy name without showing off. Okay? All right, well, let me take one more time the opportunity to say a few words about these books, because tomorrow morning I'm leaving. And just in case there's still somebody who didn't get all the books they wanted to get, tonight is really your very last chance. So we have Spiritual Culture, Krishna's Divine System. This book is all about women, actually. We women have a very powerful energy. We are meant to be the power of inspiration to the men, and we should not compete with the men. Yes, because now in modern days, man-woman equality, the women often compete with the men, and that is very disempowering to the men, actually. That's why in Kali Yuga, the men become more and more weak and irresponsible, because we women don't want to empower them, we want to empower ourselves. So that weakens the man. So very important book for all ladies, especially. Every woman who wants to have harmonious relationships with men in her life should please get a copy of this book. Very helpful for marriage. And also every man who wants to have the empowerment and support of women should also get this book. They will find a lot of interesting points here. And then we have sheltering relationships. This is all about the importance of having a counselor. Just having guru is not enough. We need somebody on a regular basis who guides us, who helps us to move forward step by step. So, hey, when we read this book, we will be convinced that without having a counselor and eventually becoming one to others, we actually cannot make advancement. So, and then we have the false ego, our constant companion and troublemaker. False ego, very subtle. As we mentioned tonight, even the chanting in Kirtan can be all false ego gratification. So in this book, there's also a whole chapter about chanting the holy name. So empty capsule, poisonous capsule, all that you will find in this book in much more detail. Yeah, very important. False ego and holy name are a powerful combination of topics. And then we have entering the Grihastha ashram. This is a handbook for matchmaking. How to see that a man and a woman are compatible for marriage. So now in India, people often mainly look at caste and social status, money, but there's so many other levels of compatibility we have to consider. So, and there's a whole list of over 200 topics in this book, which a man and a woman should discuss with a cool head to see, are we on the same page? Do we have similar goals and visions and standards we want to follow? Very important, because now in India the divorce rate is going up, and this is also connected with not such good matchmaking. You know that nowadays life has changed. We cannot do things like 5,000 years ago. So now people need to talk more, you know, because people don't so easily have that strong commitment to stick to the marriage, even if it is difficult and even if it is suffering, you know, then they just separate, they get divorced. So that's why we have to be a little more fine-tuning our matchmaking, you know, otherwise we will have more and more divorce rates, and this brings so much instability into people's lives. And then we have family life as an ashram, secrets of success. How to create this culture of bhakti in our home. Many devotees' family life, it is not a suitable place actually to cultivate bhakti. Therefore, we can't call it an ashram. Ashram means it's a good place for bhakti to grow. So we have to learn how to actually mold our life into a place which is conducive to cultivating bhakti. So there's so many good ideas and tips and guidelines. It's like a handbook for successful married life. Where in every household this book actually should be. How the husband treats the wife, how she should treat him, how the wife makes her idea his idea. There's a secret, a tactic, how the wife has to do that. So it's his idea. You know, yeah, all the important things you will find in this book. So, and then last but not least, the Vanapasasham. meeting death with joy. On Thursday, we had a whole big session on death. Maybe some of you listened to it over the internet. So this topic of death is so important. We have to understand what happens there on all the subtle levels, how to prepare, how to support others in this final journey, because our parents are leaving, senior devotees sooner or later are leaving, we are leaving sooner or later. So we have to educate ourselves how to meet death with joy one day. It is possible. And the Vanaprastha ashram is that stage in life when the kids are established in life, then the parents are meant to move on to the next phase in life. So Vanaprastha ashram is practically not established. Nobody talks about it, nobody even plans for it. But it's such a crucial phase in life to actually meet death with joy. So please, if you want to get some books, the last 4 books are 350 rupees and the first 2 are 300. Many people already got the whole set. So the whole set comes to 2,000 rupees and you can pay with QR code or with cash. And tonight is your last chance because 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm flying on to the next place. Okay, so thank you so much for your kind attention. So anybody who wants some books, my humble request is that we wait for 10-15 minutes with offering the ghee lamp, and we first come here and get books for those who want, because I may not be able to wait until everybody has offered the lamp. I may go and pack up my things to leave tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Harinam Prabhu ki, Gaurav Hemanandi. It's up to you, don't ask me, I'm the guest.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So very, very big thank you to Mataji. She spent 6 days here to chant Hare Krishna mantra the Mataji once. Hare Krishna.
One little thing I forgot to announce. 24th to 28th of December, I'm conducting a holy name retreat in Ekachakradam. Very amazing experience. We will stay there for 4 nights and I will take you on a whole journey discovering deeper levels on chanting in japa and in kirtan. Very interactive with role plays, with exercises, with evening kirtans where we apply what we discussed during the day. So if anybody is interested to come, you can take a photo of this poster. There's my website on it. All you have to do is register and be in time in Mayapur, and I arrange the rest, the transport to Ekachakra, accommodation, prasadam, everything. Hare Krishna.
So 6 days with Mataji. I'm personally absolutely grateful to Mataji. And Mataji's books, let me tell you, are not for everybody. If you want to be serious in spiritual life, you have a wake up call, you buy your book. It makes a difference in going back to project or not. It is a strong statement. Reading a book will make a difference in your life. It is a serious and intentional spiritual practice. So if you want to do that, please come and buy one of the books. Yeah, okay, bye, Paul. So thank you very much, Mataji, and what I was going to say. So, okay, so we continue proceed with the last thing. Okay, thank you again for your patient hearing. Hare Krishna. Yeah, and one more thing. Anybody would like to give a donation? Please,